Taurus, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol and this is going to be a general reading for you, and there's no date on this reading, so I trust that when it comes to you it's meant for you. And I want to say hi to all my new subscribers and also for anyone that's coming to my channel for the first time. My channel is about 2 years old, and so it's a youngish channel, so welcome. And this reading is part of a new series that I'm doing. It's called It's Time to Be Seen. And this was inspired by a shamanic course that I just finished. And the course was about visibility. So it's about, wanting to take that new step, something about wanting to do something creative for yourself, and maybe having an idea of something you want to do, but then for some reason, you get this block or this resistance to doing it because there's something here that's hidden that needs to come to the light, and we have to heal it before we can take that next step for ourselves. And so this is what we're going to do. Also, I just want to say that I have become a shamanic healer. It is a gift of mine that has come to me recently. I was called to shamanism back in about February. I started to hear, just through a lot of what I've been going through, my own healing journey. It was a call back to shamanism, which I at the time didn't even know what it was. And so it's just interesting how this journey works. So I'll leave a little video for you at the end that I've done for about 10 minutes, and it explains a little bit about how I got to shamanism, and then there'll be a little offer for you at the end of it if you like. So we're going to start off with looking at what part of you is still hiding, and that's the part that's going to need healing. So it's like there's some issue, a pattern that's showing up for you that's always comes up. It seems to always come up, something about you. And then what challenges are testing your growth. And so this is really going to explain, where does this come from? Like, why are you having this block? And it's going to explain where it comes from. It's going to be from your childhood, from your adolescence. And so we're going to do shadow work in part 2. And then we're going to look at what soul gifts did you come here to share. And that's going to open up a little bit. It's going to tell us a little bit more about your journey that you're on. And so let's begin. I'm going to be using the Curious Travels to start off with. I'm going to be clarifying with the AE White deck. And then I'll be pulling a card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle, and those have been excellent so far. So let's get started. So let's have a card for what part of you is still hiding, Taurus. One card for that. There we go. You have the Queen of Pentacles. What challenges are testing your growth? Oh, that one wanted to come out very quickly. Your Nine of Cups in reverse. And what soul gifts did you come here to share? What soul gifts did Taurus come here to share? I love how these cards shuffle. There's all my decks. This is the most beautiful deck to shuffle. Curious Travels. 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups. It usually just spits out one card at a time, which I like, and it's just beautiful shuffling. Okay, gonna have some clarifiers for the Queen of Pentacles. A couple cards, please. Okay, those came out nicely. You had the Strength card and the Nine of Cups in reverse. I will say that your Nine of Cups is on your first line, and it's also the first card in your shadow, which is interesting, very interesting. And they definitely will relate to each other. So, Nine of Cups, gonna have clarifiers for that. What challenges are testing Taurus's growth? Couple cards to clarify that. Nine of Cups. And I want one more. Okay, you have the Nine of Wands and the King of Pentacles. Ten of Cups. Couple cards. Okay, so you have the Eight of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. Cups. You have a lot of cups on the table. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a lot, but 4 out of 3, 6, 9. 4 to 9 cards. Almost half. And Pentacles too. Pentacles, okay. One Strength card. You have 1 Major Arcana. 1 Major Arcana, so I like to look at that, and it's the Strength card. I think that's important for your reading. It's the only one, and so it's important for us to highlight that. Let's look at a card for you, an oracle card. I read the title of the card, and I can see that it's going to require some strength for what you need, what it's telling you. So we'll see. We'll see, Taurus. Okay, so Queen of Pentacles we're going to start off with. That's your first card in the deck in the reading. So the Queen in my deck is the feminine side to us. We all have a feminine side and we all have a masculine side. Has nothing to do with your gender. So the Queen talks about these beautiful gifts that we have, our feminine gifts like stillness and emotions, feeling, and creativity and authenticity. And this particular one is the Queen of Pentacles. And you see how her beautiful pentacle is shining, right? The Queen lives from her body. She's embodied. Everything she does is through her gut, because that is where our emotions are. And so she leads her life with her emotions. And she makes all decisions on her emotions, not with this up here, right? This is our mind. This is our masculine side, our ego self. So she's very much somebody that's embodied and lives by her emotions, but she's in reverse right here. So I'm wondering if you're feeling like some anger. Sometimes when she's blocked, she can feel some anger, and it'll come out sometimes as ungrounded anger, where we start to get angry at the wrong person at the wrong time. She can often feel very hopeless. You know, that's where the depression comes in. And so I'm wondering if you go through either bouts of feeling some sort of anger brewing, or you get to those places where you get hopeless. Sometimes you can go in and out of that, right? And so this is what I'm seeing here, where you're sitting right now. And then you get this Strength card. You know, underneath all of this hopelessness and this anger that wants to come out sometimes, you've got this incredible strength. And I don't know if you know that, Taurus. I mean, your sign is a sign that usually is very, very grounded and very calm, right? It's a solid sign here. So, but that's not what you're feeling right now. I'm going to say it's like the opposite. I don't think you realize the strength. You know, you hear that expression, the strength of the bull, but you have that strength in you. But if I were to say that to you right now, you're going, I don't see it. I don't think so. But it's sitting right here. And like I said, that's an important card for you to remember. I want you to hold on. We're going to hold on to this card right now, right? Maybe we'll come back and I'll remind you of it. And then the next card that comes in is this Nine of Cups in reverse. Nine of Cups speaks of this individual that's sitting here. It hasn't reached the 10 yet. But look what he's done. He's put all his cups in a row as if they're trophies. Well, cups represent our emotions, right? But I don't think you're feeling... I'm going to stop there. I don't think you're feeling. I was going to say something. I was like, no, just stop at that sentence. The Nine of Cups is somebody that I call him the spiritual bypasser. He's the one that says, nope, I'm done feeling. Or maybe you're somebody that says, nope, I'm done healing. I don't have to heal anymore. You see, because if we can get on that spiritual bandwagon, which a lot of people do, where you find spirituality, maybe you're one that watches all those spiritual videos. I do, because I've gone through this stage before, where you're sitting here and you're going, you know, I'm healed now. All I got to do is listen to 10 videos of Eckhart Tolle and I've decided I'm healed. Believe me, I binged on him and I became addicted to him because I thought he was saving me at one point. But you know, the real strength comes in feeling your emotions, right? It's not in any of these videos that are going to help us. And here it is right here, and you have the strength. And so this first line that comes out, what I'm seeing here is that I think you're really shut down. Your emotions are shut down. To a point that you don't even realize that I think you've just decided, you know, I'm not even going to have anything to do with emotions. Like, you know, I'm done with emotions. I'm done healing. Maybe you like to tell yourself that you're healed. And we're never healed. Totally. Not totally. I've been 8.5 years of intensive healing. And I've been saying to my life coach forever, when am I going to stop healing? I don't say it anymore. I just tell her I hate healing because it's a difficult journey when you're on this healing journey, right? But your strength card's right here. You have the strength, Taurus. So what challenges are testing your growth? What is it in your childhood that has really caused this? Because that's what's coming up. You know, this whole thing about I'm done healing and I don't want to heal anymore, and you don't feel like you have the strength. You're definitely not in your body feeling your emotions. You're not embodied. I'm going to say you're not even grounded. You know, that's why that Queen of Pentacles came up in reverse. I don't think you're up in your head, because when we tell ourselves, I'm not feeling anymore, I'm done with this journey, I'm done healing, we're very much up in our head, because that's where our ego self likes to keep us up here, because there's no feelings up here, there's no emotions up here. All our emotions are in our body. And so when you were younger, here's the 9 of Cups again coming out for you. This is this individual that has decided not to feel. They've actually put themselves kind of in a jail here, and they've surrounded themselves, instead of, you know, putting your emotions here on a stand. Well, when you were young, you actually realized that, you know what, your emotions were dangerous. People told you that your emotions were dangerous. And so you're actually here, you know, almost like you've shut yourself off with this wall. You've used those cups of emotions to shut yourself down, shut everything down. And then so that's really important for your reading, to recognize that when I was younger, I tried to use my anger. And it's interesting that it's sitting right underneath the Queen of Pentacles, right? The one that's right in her, she's in her body. She's that feminine side. But, you know, maybe your anger was shut down. But your emotions, your big emotions, you weren't allowed to show those. They were dangerous to the people around you. And so they didn't want you to use them. And right in the middle of this reading is I like to look at the middle card a lot, because this is the 9 of Wands card. And it tells me that this individual's been through a lot. I can see here that you've been through a lot, Taurus, in your childhood. One where, you know, maybe boundaries were crossed, right? It seems like, you know, you have these 2 cards here that both of them set up walls. Look at these walls as protection. And I think your boundaries were crossed. I don't think you were able to set up boundaries. We learn how to set boundaries for ourselves when we're younger. But if people don't teach us, and if our boundaries were all crossed, nobody respected our boundaries, we have a tendency to not be able to set them when we're older for ourselves. And people will continue to cross them and walk all over us. And so I'm seeing that in your childhood. And then you have the King of Pentacles here. Well, that explains a lot. It's interesting that as a crisscross, you have Queen of Pentacles, which is that feminine side of us that has that beautiful golden pentacle that tells us, that's the earth element. The pentacle is the body. And so, like I said, she's embodied. But here's the king. He has this earth element, this pentacle in his hand now, Well, he's our masculine side. He's the ego self. So what happened here was when you learned when you were younger that it wasn't a safe place to be in your body because when you expressed your emotions, you were told, put those emotions away. Well, you know what happens is when you're younger and you are threatened with your emotions and they're used against you and you're told you can't have them, and so you put them away, and then our ego self will kick in because it's a real protective part. And it does. I mean, you have to give it that. It protects you when you're younger, and it'll pull you up in your head because you can't stay in your body. If things are that painful, you're not allowed, you can't stay in your body. It's just not possible for you as a child. And so you're pulled up in your head. Your ego self will pull you up in your head. And so here you are. I can see that you are in right now. There's some emotions that are coming up for you right now in regards to the situation that you're sitting in, whatever you want to do. But you're having a hard time staying in your body and dealing with these emotions because when you were younger, you're remembering, there's a part of you that remembers what happened when you tried to use some of these emotions, right? And the strength card's looking at me and I can't help but see it, that you're a very strong person, Taurus. And you have to remember that you've got this strength card sitting here for you. And so I'm wondering if maybe there's some emotions that need to be used to come out, we'll see. So the Ten of Cups, the first card that comes out for you is these look at these kids dancing under the sun, Imagine you as a child expressing all your emotions, being able to express all your emotions, being free, being free to be you. I'm going to use my crying right now if I want, and nobody's going to shut me down. I'm going to use my anger when I'm mad, and no one's going to shut me down, And here's this Ten of Cups. It's like the end of the pip cards for the emotions. It's the one that you've not got to right here. This Nine of Cups that's been shut down twice. You weren't allowed. You weren't allowed to get to the Ten of Cups. You weren't allowed to have full range of your emotions, Taurus. But here it is right here for you. What soul gifts do you come here to share? Well, you've got some emotions to express around not being allowed to use your emotions when you were younger. What big emotions need to be expressed right here, right now for you, for some gifts to come through? When we can get to that final, most important emotion is the grief of not being able to be you when you were younger, maybe feeling like you don't matter because you weren't allowed to use your emotions, right? I often think of a little kid in the corner like this, being really angry because they're not allowed to be them. Here's this beautiful card that just says, the incredible freedom that can come to you when you can express all of these emotions that you've been holding in. And then the Eight of Pentacles comes in. The Eight of Pentacles talks about this individual doing this job. He's been doing it for a long time. He makes these pentacles, and he's not angry. He's very content. This is a card that talks about passion, having passion for something. I think your passion is trying to come through here, and maybe you know what it is. There's something that's coming up here, and it's something that you're very passionate about, but you have so many emotions around this. You may have so many emotions around this that were shut down when you were younger, and you're needing to express them for your passion to come through. Once you're able to express all these emotions that you weren't allowed to express when you were younger, your passion's going to start to come through. Here's where your gifts will come through, right? It's your soul. It's your soul that wants to sing, that wants to tell you what you came here for. And you have this beautiful Queen of Cups at the end. Your reading starts with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and ends with the Queen of Cups. I want you to look at the Queen of Cups. So this is your feminine side. This is the feminine side of emotions, your emotional side. Look at how beautiful her feet are when she lives by her emotions, right? Right here, she's the grounded queen, and right here, she's the one that uses all her emotions, and they're just swimming at her feet. And she's learned to feel all of her emotions. She's holding on to the 10th cup. You know that 10th cup that you've sworn off of? That as a child you were told, no, you're not allowed to? All those 10 cups right here. She's holding it for you right here. She's offering it to you, right? Here you go. I think when you learn how to get to that 10 of cups and be able to feel every single damn emotion that comes into your system, like I have learned the hard way, but I do now, that's going to be your strength. That's going to be your strength. Your strength is going to be feeling your emotions. That's your strength. So let's see what this Shaman's Dream Oracle has for you, Taurus. Closing the door. Completion. Completion is number 10, right? 10 of Cups. When the closing door shows up, it's a call to recognize an ending, to terminate a relationship, a job, a task, or a situation that has been dragging on far too long. Unlock the cage you have been trapped in and shut the door behind you. This is not the time to worry about what others might think or feel. Instead, break with routine. Consider what you think and how you feel, and be true to your heart's calling. It's time to walk out the door. If you do not see a door, but only a solid wall in front of you, ask for assistance. Muster the courage to say, no more. Remember as well that no one else needs to be wrong in order for you to do what you've known you needed to do for a long time. If the door to a project or a relationship has been closed to you, stop knocking on it. You have tried that already and no one answered, at least not in the way you would have liked. Take this as a gift, difficult and painful as it might be. Move on. Every door that shuts is an invitation to find another way, another path to your destination. Better to recognize this earlier rather than later. How many of us leave a relationship or job years later after we knew it was time to move on? Stop wallowing in the pain and lingering on the reasons why things did not work. It's keeping you from greater calling. Bow deeply before that closed door. Give thanks to the lessons and set yourself free. Wow. All right, Taurus. I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. This is a very difficult journey, the healing journey, but it's the most important one. So I want you to stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.